So picking up from the end of the previous chapter, Izuku has come in at the last second to save Shindo from Muscular, and we're seeing the continuation of that sequence, with Muscular recognizing Izuku, and then Muscular starts leaping towards him, but then Izuku notices that like he's not able to jump directly at him, but like right below him into the building, and then like he wrecks the building and causes it to fall apart. And Muscular's like, let's settle this with a rematch. So this sequence right here is setting up the inevitable end of Muscular. Then we see Tatami making her way to where Izuku is holding Shindo, and he's like, oh, thank God, please take care of him. So now he's handing off Shindo to Tatami. So now he's evacuated. He doesn't have to worry about him, and he could just focus on Muscular. And then Tatami's like, I couldn't see because of the smoke, but his voice is pretty familiar. Who is he? Understandable that she would recognize Izuku's voice, considering that they met each other in the provisional license exam arc. Then Izuku darts away, and he says, did I overdo it? And then out of nowhere, we see the sixth user, and he like puts his arm around Izuku's shoulder and starts talking to him. And he's like, I suppose you've done enough to control the area. You use too much of your smoke screen. Don't let him turn the advantage against your favor, I suppose. So this is super interesting. So first of all, this is confirming that the sixth user's quirk is in fact a smoke quirk, but I guess it's going to be referred to as smoke screen here. And I guess this is what the majority of us expected it to be, considering it was revealed in like chapter 304, 305, I don't remember exactly, that his name was N, which apparently means smoke. So given how the naming usually goes with the heroes in My Hero, it usually refers to their abilities, therefore we have a smoke quirk here. And it's pretty cool, like the way that it comes off of Izuku kind of just emanates off of him, almost like I guess it's coming out of his pores or something. And it certainly brings a different type of aspect to Izuku, like what I've been talking about the last couple of weeks when we've been speculating about the possibility of Izuku having this quirk. It would bring him more utility, kind of like how Black Whip's brought, but this is more so from like, as the sixth user is saying, the ability to control the area by, you know, using the smoke, and it puts more advantage of situations into Izuku's favor, given that he is in control of the smoke and therefore shutting off the range of vision from his opponents. Now, the other thing is that the sixth user is like in real time communicating with Izuku without Izuku having to go into the Vestige world. Pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen this happen. This like immediately reminded me of like Dexter. If you're familiar with that show, like Dexter was able to talk to like his dead dad and like have like conversations with him. Also, of course, I'm sure this reminds you of Naruto and Kurama's later relationship in the series. And I honestly like this. I think it's pretty cool that he's able to do this, and I hope we see more of it with the other Vestiges. And speaking of the Vestiges, just a little update on the second and third users, or should I say there is no update on them. This chapter has still not given us any insight into them. We don't even have like a hint as to if he picked up their abilities or not, or what's really going on with them. And I was thinking like, oh, maybe the second user or the third user will just randomly show up and start talking to him the way that the sixth user is here eventually in the future, but I don't know, maybe that's just unlikely at this point. But then the sixth user continues to give Izuku some more advice, and he's like, I suppose you're relying on One for All too much. You're making avoidable accidents under its influence. You shouldn't repeat the mistakes of the other 8 generations made. Try to loosen your shoulders. Don't let the power use your body. Let your body use the power instead. Your collective quirks alone aren't enough to serve as your crutch. You value your quirks too much, I suppose. Think of them instead as more of your tools. You using those tools will get you into the right mindset. And then we see a panel of what these quirks could represent in tool, like Black Whip's representing a rope, his smoke screen representing like a smoke bomb or whatever you call it, smoke grenade, I don't know. Float representing a jetpack, and then I guess Danger Sense is being represented as like a walkie-talkie or something. Let me also point out that I was mistaken in my spoilers video yesterday. I didn't have all of the information, and I kind of rushed through stuff by just like quickly looking at the leaked panels that we got, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together with the context that was written on the spoilers. So I just want to put that out there. Sometimes in the spoilers videos, I'll make mistakes or something, but I'll definitely, you know, correct them once I actually see the full chapter the following day. That's why I always make 2 videos. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, because I always make a My Hero video Thursday and Fridays for the new chapters. But it's after this where Izuku becomes unleashed, and we're really seeing him advance to the next level of not only character development, but also power development as well. And this is probably the best version of Izuku we've seen in the series so far, because like what was just established with him using the quirks as tools, that's exactly what he's doing here. He's taking a page out of Obi-Wan's book and getting the high ground down with float, using smoke screen to reduce the range of vision to catch him off guard, and then using danger sense to dodge his attacks. This is another thing that I've been talking about for a while now, and it was that he's going to use danger sense in kind of like the same application as like Ultra Instinct or Observation Hockey or something like that, because it was kind of teased that it had this application to it when we saw the 4th user interacting with the 5th user in the Vestige world. Then finally just uses Black Whip to constrain him and then just throws him into like the river. Coming into this chapter, we expected Izuku to defeat Muscular, but it was really unclear how easy it was going to be. But now it's made apparent that this is a straight up squash match. Like, Izuku is so far ahead of Muscular at this point that he pretty much has no chance. Then Izuku starts questioning Muscular's motives here. He's like, why are you doing what you're doing? Do you really have to do this? And then he's like, is there no other path for you to take? Imasuji Goto, name reveal on Muscular here. And then Muscular just pretty much establishes that, like, hey, you know what? I'm evil. I'm unredeemable. You can't talk no jutsu me. You're going to have to beat me down with brute force. And then we get the one panel where it says, if I truly understood him, maybe things would turn out different. This is a callback to chapter 305 when Izuku's talking to the Vestiges. And this statement is generally in the direction of Shigaraki, but interestingly enough, on that page of the original dialogue, we see Muscular, Stain, and Overhaul. So now that he has come back to Muscular here, could that have possibly been little foreshadowing that this is going to be like Izuku's reunion tour? Maybe, because we know that Stain is currently free. Like, he's out just like Muscular is. So maybe this means that Izuku is going to meet up with Stain again and then maybe have a conversation with him and then maybe Overhaul after that. Then Izuku's like, okay, well, I guess I gotta beat you down. And he's like, a rematch is pointless. And as Muscular's about to attack him, his muscle fibers start snapping. And then we're getting the explanation as to what happened at the beginning of the chapter when he wasn't able to launch at Izuku directly. And that's because when Shindo hit him with Tremoring Earthquake in the previous chapter, like face first, it did the damage already. It just took a little bit for it to show its inevitable effects. So Shindo not completely useless here. Although he did get beat down, he served his purpose and set up Izuku for this big win here, where we're seeing at the end of the chapter with Muscular's, true body exposed, Izuku hitting him with the one shot, similar to how he hit Overhaul. And we get this awesome panel from Horikoshi here, maybe top 10 in the series possibly. And yeah, that's where the chapter ends. Amazing. I love this chapter so much, giving it like an 8.5. But going a little more into this ending sequence here, not really sure how much of One For All Izuku is using at this point. It's obviously not revealed, but the last update that we got on the amount of power that Izuku could use without him like breaking his body was 45% at the point of impact and then 30% comfortably. But given that we've had the month time skip and he seemingly has had some coaching from the Vestiges in real time, maybe he can now use more than 45. Maybe he's hitting him with like 50 or maybe 60 or something. Or this could straight up be 100, but it visibly doesn't look like 100. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.